Hey there, ladies. I hope everyone's having a good weekend. We have a big week ahead of us. We have our first two official games. We've got Friday at JFK and then Saturday at home, or home opener versus the Bethesda Chevy Chase Barons. So that's going to be fun. We have a lot of work to do this week, so this video here is to kind of build upon what we did last week. So I'd like you to all to, if you can, review last week's video. I'll put that in this email as well, so you have to go searching through. Last week we talked about the difference between force outs and tag outs. This week we're going to be shifting gears a little bit and talk about base running during pop-ups and fly balls like we did a little bit. We talked about that briefly on Friday. And we're going to be talking about responsibilities of fielding, about when to cover bags, things like that. The object ultimately is for me to be teaching like this and lecturing less at practice so that you have more time to play and more reps to get in. The unfortunate nature of the beast is that in the beginning, as a lot of us are just learning the game for the first time, these sorts of things are necessary. So I hope that you do give these a time. I try to keep them short. They're definitely going to be somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes at the max. Just I don't want to overload you. I don't want you to have I know you have schoolwork and you have life and stuff like that. I don't want to add any more burden to you. But these videos are to supplement the things that we go over in practice that we don't always have as much time as I'd like to go over, so that you have something to reference when I'm not around. And if there are still questions, please, by all means, email me, talk to me at practice, talk to me before or after practice. I'm more than happy to explain. I don't care if you think I've explained it 100 times. I'll do it 101, 200 times, however much it takes, because I want to make sure that you get the most out of this. I want to make sure that you're engaged and that you're enjoying this, because I do care about this sport. I like coaching you guys. It's the best job in the world. It really is. And I wish that you could see what I've seen in the last 2 weeks on the progress that you've made. I know it's hard when you're in it to see it, because you're thinking about, just like you're thinking about the negative thing. Oh, I dropped that ball. I didn't swing at that. Whatever. But trust me, the progress I've seen has been astounding. So don't sweat it. You girls are doing amazing. I promise you that. All right. So let's get into this here. All right. We talked about base running. When there's a ground ball hit and you're on base, generally speaking, you're going to run, okay? Because the fielder has to get the ball and then make a play. They've either got to try and tag you or they've got to throw to a base. It's not an automatic out, just catching the ball if it's on the ground. Look to me, I'll be here at first base. If you're at first base and there's nobody else on, I'll be here at first base and I'll be telling you, hey, run or don't run. Obviously, if you're at first base, you're going to have to run because you have to force. You have no choice. But once somebody gets to second base, I'll shift positions like I did the other day at the game, and I'll be over at third base. So if you're here at this base, you're at third, listen to me for cues, okay? But if the ball is hit in the air, once a ball is hit in the air and it's caught, you're out. Doesn't matter if it's in foul territory or fair territory. If it's caught, it's out. It doesn't even matter if you've beaten it all the way to the base. You can hit the ball in the air. It can be hanging there for a while. You can make it all the way to second base in some cases. Once that ball comes down and it's caught, you're out. It doesn't matter that you made it to another base safely. That's just the way it works, okay? When you're on base and a teammate pops up, watch the ball. If there are 0 or 1 outs, do not move, okay? The reason for that is you have to tag the base. You have to wait. This is the way it works. Let's say you're on second base and somebody at first, somebody at home, they hit the ball, it's in the air. What you need to do is you need to wait until the ball is caught. Once the ball has been caught by the fielder, then you're able to leave the base. Now, obviously, if there's a fly ball and you see it's going and no one's going to catch it, it's like, it's flying here, it's in between center field and right field, no one's going to get it, well then, yeah, by all means, then you can take off and run. But if it's one of those where it's one of those pop-ups and they're like, I got it, wait to see what happens, okay? You need to wait until the ball is in their glove before you can attempt to safely advance to the next base. Now, of course, they can still attempt to throw you out, they can tag you, they can do whatever, so it's at your risk. So watch to me for clues, and as you play the game more, you'll start learning when you can run and how you can't run. You start learning how strong the arms are in the outfield versus how fast you are, all those different things. But for now, look to me, and I'll tell you if it's safe to go or not. And if you get out, well, that's on me, that's not on you. All right, that's me making a mistake. But if you are caught off the bag, if you just take off and there's 0 or 1 outs, and they catch the ball out here, let's say center field catches the ball or any field, and you're off base, if they throw to that base that you were just on, all they have to do is tag it. It becomes a force. They can tag you, obviously, that's always going to be the case, but all they have to do is tag that and they can get another out. So we don't want to do that. Now, I said that's only when there are 0 outs or 1 outs. Why? Because if there are 2 outs, it changes. Because you only need 3 outs to end an inning, right? You can't get 4 outs. So when you're at second base or any base and the ball is hit in the air like that, there's only 2 things that are going to happen. They're going to catch the ball or they're not going to catch the ball. It's just that simple. If they catch the ball, well, then that means 3 outs, innings over. You become irrelevant in that case. They're not focusing on you. They're focusing on getting that ball that's in the air for that out. That's going to be a sure thing. If you take off and they're like, I got it with 2 outs, and they drop the ball somehow, well then there's no problem. They've already dropped the ball. You're already running around the bases. There's no risk to you in that case. That's why with 2 outs you can take that chance, because the worst that happens is they catch it, they get the 3rd out, and you have to go back into the dugout anyway. They can't catch it, get a 3rd out, and then try to get you for a 4th out. It's not going to work that way. So that's why with 2 outs the situation changes from when there's 0 or 1 outs. It's a little convoluted, I know, but that's just the way it is. I don't make the rules. I just teach them. All right. Now the other thing I want to talk about is covering bases. I'll leave that up there for now. Covering bases. We talked about this a lot. If the ball is hit towards shortstop, even if the play is not going to second base, I want them to practice getting over there, just to reinforce that muscle memory. It's hit towards shortstop, second base, get on that bag and cover it just in case. It's hit towards second, shortstop, get on second base just in case. If there's a slow roller up the line, don't wait for it. Don't wait for it to come to you. Charge the ball. Go after it, because the whole time that ball is rolling, that runner is running, all right? So if you see first base and they're running along the line, it's coming along, it's one of these slow rollers or it's a bunt or something like that, and first base needs to charge it, pitcher, get over there, cover. Right field, move over here and cover in case first base has to throw back to the pitcher and it goes past her. Right field is there to back up. Always back each other up, okay? That's part of the thing. You don't want to have first base running up here, fielding the ball and turning around to throw, and no one's covering the base. They're not going to have enough time to field it and then run back to the bag themselves. So you want to pay attention. Even if the ball is not hit to you, that does not mean that you are not involved in the play. Look at where it's going. Look at where it can go. Look at where the throwing lanes are, so that when you see your third base is throwing across over to second over here, center field, shift over a little bit. Just in case it goes past second base, it's going to you to back up. And it's not going into no man's land and allowing the runners to score or advance even further. It's about that situational awareness. It takes time to get used to, but in this email I'll have not only a link to last week's practice video that I sent, but also a very famous play I talked about in practice on Friday called the flip. It's Derek Jeter in the playoffs against the Oakland Athletics. He was playing for the Yankees. It was a 1-0 game, very tight game in Oakland, and Jeremy Giambi was coming all the way around to score on a ball. And he should have scored. It was one of those things that would have tied the game up. I think it was in the 8th inning. But the ball got hit, and Derek Jeter here, he's playing shortstop. He sees where the ball is in the outfield. He sees how offline. He's moving around the entire time, just trying to be in a position where if the ball gets thrown to somebody, he's there to back people up. He winds up cutting across all the way over to here. The ball comes offline. Jeremy Giambi's running down the line to score. Jeter gets it here, feels the ball, flips it like that to the catcher, Jorge Posada, who then turns around and tags Jeremy Giambi as he's about to score. Inning over, 1-0 lead preserved. The Yankees actually go on to win by that score, and they wind up going on eventually to the World Series that year. But it was because he had the situational awareness to know that even though he's a shortstop who plays here, he went all the way down here because he saw where the ball was going. He saw what would happen if the ball had been overthrown like it was, or if it was offline, and he put himself in that position to preserve that run, to end that inning, to keep that lead, and eventually to help the Yankees win and move on to the next round. So those are the things that we're trying to teach here, is backing one another up, all right? And that's something that's going to be very difficult to get used to, but you'll get it once you do it. This week we're going to be working on fundamentals. If you can field cleanly and you can throw accurately, it takes a lot of this pressure off, okay? That's what we're going to be trying to do. So tomorrow at practice, the goal is to do things like ground balls and pop-ups, and also to do relay throws like we did that day we were in the gym, where we had several of you in a line. One person would throw, the person would catch, turn glove side, throw to the next one, and go up and down the line like that and rotate. That's to get used to throwing to one another. That's part of the reason that Coach T and I have started to have more separation between JV and varsity, so that JV and varsity aren't throwing to one another. You're throwing to the people that you're going to be throwing to in a game, so you can get used to how one another throw and catch and things like that. So that's another reason why at the end of practice tomorrow, I'm going to shut things down about 10-15 minutes early so we can do a little team bonding exercise and do things on working on getting our nerves under control. I know when we get into games, we tend to get a little bit nervous. I do too. It's not about not feeling our emotions. It's about not letting them control us. It's about us mastering them, right? There are techniques that we can do to keep ourselves chill, to keep ourselves focused, and remind ourselves this is fun, right? This is a game. That's the whole point here. We don't. It's not life or death out there, okay? So you're doing a great job. Again, I really wish you could see what I've seen in the last 2 weeks, and just seeing the progress that you've made. When I tell you that you're doing a great job, I'm not doing that because I just feel like saying these words. When I say these things, I'm being genuine, because I really am proud of you. This is the best job in the world. I love coming to work every day and working with you guys. It's so much fun. It's a great bunch. The attitude's great. The attention's great. The enthusiasm and the support for one another is great. So we want to keep that up. We're going to do everything we can to maximize our skills, but also maximize the fun, all right? We don't want to turn this into work. We don't want to turn this into just more school. We want to turn this into what it's been. Just have us go out there, have some fun, learn the game, get better at it, and you really are. There's a lot of fun here to be had, and there's a lot of fun we've already had, and we've seen that. So tomorrow we'll do a little bit of just fielding, do some team bonding, and then on Tuesday I'd like to focus more on hitting before we start doing some more mixed practices of fielding and hitting on Wednesday and Thursday leading up to the game on Friday. And pitchers, I know it's a little bit sore. I know I've spoken to some of you. We're going to start working on things with strengthening our shoulders and the muscles and tendons around it. I have rotator cuff impingement in my shoulders, so I know a thing or two about that. Exercises and stretches to do to strengthen the muscles and tendons around it so that we don't hurt it. I have to draw a line between having you practice pitching but also not overworking your arms so that you're injured. Your safety and health is much more important, okay? So we'll be working on stuff like that. So that's all I've got for this video. I hope you're getting a little something out of this. If anything's unclear, I know I gotta go quick. I know I have a lot to cover in these short little videos, but please do email me. Please find me at practice, after practice, whatever it is. It's not going to be a stupid question. I'm not going to be upset. I'm not going to be like, ugh, I already covered that. I don't care. I'll cover it again. I want to make sure that you know, so that you're comfortable out there. And I want you to know that you should have the confidence in yourselves, because I have the confidence in all of you to put you in these situations. I wouldn't be here doing this on my day off if I didn't believe that. All right? So that's all I've got. I'll see you at practice tomorrow. Have a great day at school. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.